The Pentagon's post-Iraq War I Defense Planning Guidance (DPG) from 1992 defined foreign policy and military doctrine for the new decade and into the new millennium. The US must remain the single global hegemon with enough strength to prevent any possible strategic rivals such as Germany, Japan, Russia, or China from even considering a challenge to US dominance or access to natural resources. Aside from America's great triumph over global communism and its apparent success in the first Iraq War, Deputy Secretary of Defense for Policy Paul Wolfowitz and his staff wrote that the U.S. had also succeeded in the integration of the leading democracies into a U.S. led system of collective security and the creation of a democratic zone of peace. They proposed expanding the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, NATO, military alliance into Eastern Europe, saying that a substantial American presence in Europe will provide reassurance and stability as the new democracies of Eastern Europe and possibly some states of the former Soviet Union seek to be integrated into a larger and evolving security architecture. An enthusiastic Secretary of Defense Dick Cheney told Wolfowitz aide Zalmay Khalilzad, "You've discovered a new rationale for our role in the world." Cheney officially published the document as America's defense strategy for the 1990s. Beyond their practical implementation, these documents were much more important politically, setting the boundaries of debate regarding America's place in the post Cold War world, including an emphasis on continued dominance in the Middle East and expansion into Eastern Europe. As Wolfowitz told author James Mann, "What we were afraid of was people who would say, 'Let's bring all the troops home and let's abandon our position in Europe.' It's hard to imagine just how uncertain the world looked at the end of the Cold War." By 2000, Wolfowitz boasted that his doctrine had become the mainstream consensus. PNAC. After it was leaked to the New York Times, causing a small controversy, the DPG draft was rewritten to include more multilateralism, but remained essentially unchanged. And those same neoconservatives wrote in their 1998 Project for a New American Century (PNAC) study, Rebuilding America's Defenses, expanding the U.S. presence in the Middle East and the NATO alliance in Europe was at the core of their doctrine. "The region is stable," they wrote, "but a continued American presence helps to assure the major European powers, especially Germany, that the United States retains its long-standing security interests in the continent." They added, "This is especially important in light of the nascent European moves toward an independent defense identity and policy. It is important that NATO not be replaced by the European Union, leaving the United States without a voice in European security affairs."